Alright, Dragon, are you ready for real this time? That was just preparation.
Of course. We're just getting real cheeky here, debating everyone left and right.
Alright, I'm ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
Alright, so as Lucas said, we start the runoff with crouch save, which basically means that we're abusing the quick save and quick load mechanic to gain extra momentum from a certain animation, and that lets us clip through things.
Exactly. So we're gonna go into this, well, it's not really a hidden area, but we're not supposed to go here. The reason why we do this is because we're gonna perform a very, very cheeky trick, which is called Trigger Bug, which pretty much means we jump into a wall, which causes all triggers on this map to activate simultaneously, which, yeah, teleports us to the next level.
Indeed, and then we're just gonna swan dive through this elevator door, which is obviously how you're meant to beat this level. And one more thing to note about the trigger bug is you might notice on some levels that the health bar will go all the way down. That is because, as Lucas said, we trigger literally everything at the same time that is on the map, and that includes death triggers. So on some occasions, we do technically die, but because the game doesn't care about this, as long as you reach an end level trigger, you will proceed to the next level, and every time you complete a level, your health bar gets completely
Can I get
healed.
you anything?
How was Werner killed? What happened?
That is
It's all a
correct.
bit
Trigger
vague.
bugs are a
I
very
arrived at his apartment today from
interesting
London.
sort of glitch.
He was babbling with fear.
And
said he
right
tried to
now we
contact
are
you.
at the
He did.
community's
I never
favorite
expected
level,
that.
Mademoiselle
Not after
Carvier's apartment.
Werner has been
A
fearful
beautiful
for his
2-minute
life.
dialogue
He
to
accepted
enjoy
a
every
commission
single
5
run.
weeks ago. Since
Yes,
then,
I
acting
jokingly
strangely,
refer
jumping
to
at
this as
shadows.
the
He
final
even left a
boss,
package with me for
because
security.
this
Who was
is
the commission from?
along with
The
an
guy's name was
actual
Erkard.
kind of boss
He
fight in the
wanted Werner
game.
to research something
This
called
is
the
just about the
obscura
only
agents.
thing right
Werner
now that we
approached me at
cannot
my
skip,
department at the
no
Louvre.
matter what we do.
Were you able to help him?
Yeah,
We
it's
We have tried all kinds of
Werner
things at
was
our
killing
disposal,
everyone.
and we just cannot
I
seem to
wonder
get
why
rid of this
exactly.
lovely
He
lady.
felt he was being
Yeah,
stalked.
Carvier is the
He could
real
well have
final
been.
boss of this
The
game.
monstrum is running around Paris, according to the press.
Werner left a package here with me. I was to give it to you if anything happened to him.
Yep, it's
Do you
a
know
Now
what
you
it
guys
is?
get to hear
dialogue.
some
It's his
lore.
field notebook.
If he left his notebook,
Very
he
important
was
game lore
spooked.
that we do not
You
have
still
time to
haven't
explain.
explained what happened.
There was gunfire.
Indeed.
That's
To
all I
let
can
Carvey
recall.
do that job.
Werner was shot.
Fun fact about the theme
you
of
kill
this
him?
game
I can't remember.
and the title
It's all a blur.
is
Miss Croft,
the Japanese
strongly
version,
suggest
which
that
we
you
actually
talk
use
to
in
the police.
glitchless speedruns, has a
Mademoiselle,
different title.
I was a good friend of
For
Werner's.
some reason. It's
I
not
didn't
called
kill
The
him.
Angel of
I
Darkness
didn't.
in Japanese.
say
It's
so.
called The
you
Beautiful
have the notebook?
Fugitive,
I do.
which is actually a bit
Let's
more
say for the
lore
moment.
accurate if you ask me, but I guess
Then
The
I
Angel of
suggest you
Darkness
give it
still
to me
sounds
now.
better,
Somebody
to us at least.
remember
Oh yeah, I
clearly what
forgot it
happened.
has a different
Perhaps
title.
the police are right in suspecting you.
I never killed Werner.
Well, we
I
have
think you
gained
better leave,
Carvier's
Miss Croft.
trust, and she will give us the notebook that we need to escape this room, which will bring us to the next level, the Parisian ghetto, that we will just skip by jumping into a train. And we skip the next part by jumping to the right, and this is pretty much how this speedrun is gonna go. The only thing we really do is we use crouch saves to just get through walls, and we use trigger bugs to skip the levels. It's
And
pretty
then
much
there's
the
moon
big
jumps, but we'll get to that later.
Oh yeah, moon jumps are their own thing, pretty much. Now it's time to
Yeah.
visit the Louvre. And we do that very classically by just jumping
Looks
into
like a
another
way out.
wall.
Yeah, and then we get to see the storm drains of it all.
I think this is the
And that's obviously the kind of direction you want to approach a museum
At
from.
least it's clean in here.
Yeah, we just swan dive into the floor and bam, we're in there.
We are indeed.
It's a very nice Louvre guard that will help us find our way through the next room, which is a laser room. But we have our very own way of getting through the laser room. Some people might just do some Mission Impossible stuff, but we just, well, we swan dive through an out of bounds area.
Indeed. And I see in the chat somebody said sick bunny hops. Indeed, in this game, if you do a running jump specifically onto stairs and you keep holding a direction and jump, you can immediately jump again as long as you're landing on stairs.
Yeah, it's like stair surfing.
Pretty much.
Right now we are in the next area that is unloaded, where we will proceed to find our way, more or less successful, to the basement that has the archaeological dig. If you remember this game, then you will know that from the archaeological dig you will go to the Tomb of Ancients, which is followed by the Hall of Seasons. But it wouldn't be any percent if we would not have a great skip for that. And the only thing we really do is jump to the left 2 times, 1 time back, and yeah, jump to the wall. That's
So
it.
basically, most of the time when we perform a trigger bug, which is arguably Lara's biggest superpower in this game, we usually skip only 1 level or 1 section of a level. But in this case, because we come back to the archaeological dig later, there's another end trigger essentially. And if we can hit that end trigger, it
My legs
essentially
feel
skips like
stronger.
6 levels.
Yeah, it's really insane, the amount of glitches we have in this game.
And now you just saw Lucas kicking a door and gaining the ability to sprint, which is very realistic, of course.
Yeah, it's once our legs get stronger, Lara can do pretty much everything. And we are back in Von Croy's apartment, which is pretty much one big boss fight. It's very intense, and we will show you right now why. It requires a lot of finesse. And
Yeah, the boss
crouching
fight
to walls.
itself, incredibly difficult and complicated. Basically, you guys see Lucas has a gun. There's the boss, and that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the boss fight. Thank you. Now we're going to the Monstrum crime scene, straight to Prague, where we will figure out where the evil is in this game. But in order to do that, we need the help of a very, very certain character in this game, only known by the AUD community, and we will have to talk to him.
We will indeed.
Let's see what he has to say. There is an alternative attempt that you can do. You can moon jump straight in the air, but why would you miss talking to our favorite reporter?
It won't.
And there's another surprise to this character, actually.
Have you changed your mind about the
When you
Strahov
talk to
code?
him in this
Yes,
version
I
of the
thought I'd
game,
give you another chance.
there is
But I
a
want the
slight
story, the
chance
events in Paris, and
on
whatever
any
happens here.
of the
deal,
dialogue
Luddick.
This
lines
passcode
that the
will
game
get you
will
into the
soft lock.
warehouse area. It's only
And
a
this is a
low-level
pretty
pass,
big
but at
meme
least
for
you'll be
us.
inside the complex.
Yeah, it's
I can take it
it's
from
always
there.
super
Have you
risky
tried this
after the
code
first
yourself?
line. I'm just
Me?
afraid that
No, the
everyone
place
will
gives me
freeze.
the creeps. Workers have gone missing and all
Slight
kinds
chance,
of
yes.
spooky stuff.
What goes on in there?
And
God
we are
knows.
about to hear the
I'd give my
infamous
innards to
line
find out,
that
but it's
any
way too
AOD
gothic
player should
for
know.
me. If you uncover anything,
It gives us
give me
all the
first
hope and
shot at it,
adrenaline
huh?
in the
Sure
world.
thing. Let's talk in the car.
And
The Strahov isn't far.
yes, that's what we wanted to hear.
One more thing to mention about the soft lock is the way it occurs most of the time is the line that the game soft locks on will keep repeating infinitely
Oh yeah, that
while the
actually
game is
happened
soft locked.
in I think it was Galleries Under Siege when she says she can't breathe.
Yes,
get
that's
the-
another thing that can happen.
Yeah, you get the breathing sound for the rest of your run. And now we are approaching a very interesting glitch that hopefully does not crash the game, because it has happened a few times. And okay, it looks good.
Yeah, this level is notorious for crashing in a million ways in a million different areas. So this is like, I would say it's like the scariest level potentially in a marathon or in some kind of PB or world record attempt.
Yeah, for sure. And what you just saw was a leg break. You can also call the Terminator or Michael Myers state, where we just go through every laser and every mine without getting harmed. This is what we call the leg break.
And that is because whenever you interact with anything in this game, you actually, during the interaction, you become completely invincible. And whenever you perform a leg break, Lara's, I don't want to say hitbox, but like her detection range for doing interactions extends very far. And this allows you to interact with things that are, like I said, really, really far away from you. And while you are moving towards the thing that you are interacting with, you are completely immune to anything. So this is the thing that lets us skip all these lasers, because normally these would kill you as soon as you touch them.
Alright, you just
And
saw
of course,
a moon jump. Yes?
yes.
Didn't want to
I was gonna say, and of course, not only does Lara ignore all forms of damage, she also goes through collisions. Just to add on top of everything. And the moon jumps that you saw work in a similar manner to the very first thing that you saw in the run, which was the crouch save glitch, where you essentially abuse saving and loading to gain extra momentum. It turns out that when you are jumping, be it any kind of jump, you can gain extra momentum, and you can keep gaining said momentum for almost as long as you'd like, I want to say, as long as you keep your timing correct. And you're gonna, well, jump infinitely.
Yeah, you can pretty much jump to the moon if you'd like. AUD is full of everything, so if you're looking for a game to absolutely destroy, yeah, this is your game. I mean, sometimes the game will just destroy itself easily, but that shouldn't happen too much. And we are going to enter another out-of-bounds section in the bio research area. Now this section is very special because the rest of the level is going to be completely out of bounds. And we will have to do another moon jump to reach the door at the other side. And let's hope that works as planned.
And while all this is happening, I want everybody to take a really good look at the game's title again, because I think that at this point on it should really kick in why this game is called what it is.
The Angel of Darkness.
Indeed.
That is actually a perfect moment because we are in the air with our hands out, doing the angel pose.
Exactly. Never even thought about that one, to be fair.
Yeah, that was.
Now, this is a very risky strat that Lucas is doing, by the way. If he messes up, not only would he take fall damage if he were to land on some collision, but there's also a huge water pool below him while he's doing all that. And you can't really see anything, so it would be insanely hard to recover from that. You can't really abuse loading because you're saving and loading in the middle of the air, so loading wouldn't really help you at that point. So you would need to find a ladder to get back.
Is now a good time to chime in with a donation or two?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. We have $29.09 from Zero Kieran with no message. Thanks, Zero. We also have $5 from Catalina, who says, "Good luck, Lucas." Thanks, Catalina.
Thank you. And yes, as somebody pointed out in the chat, we are indeed playing the predecessor to Uncharted, which is this lovely man who is very good at crouching. As you saw at the beginning of the game, Lara requires you to abuse this save loading momentum to clip through things. Curtis, on the other hand, can simply run at things and crouch, and with the momentum of running, he will clip through thin walls and doors.
Yeah, Curtis.
So he doesn't even need to abuse that.
So this was another out-of-bounds section where we just maneuver Curtis around the darkness and we bonk more walls to finish the level pretty much. I think that is a very, very good explanation of what is happening Also abusing another leg break.
One more thing to note about trigger bugs is I know it might seem like Lucas is just kind of jumping at random places and breaking the game, but actually, in a lot of cases, or I want to say basically every case in the game, if you want to do a trigger bug, they have very, like, you need to jump at very specific points from a specific distance for them to work. So these are usually done via either setups or very neat visual cues.
Yeah, the trigger bugs are very, well, they're very special to get sometimes. They require a lot of setup. And in most levels, like for example the Louvre galleries, they do not teleport you to the end of the level. Sometimes it can just trigger random cutscenes, or will just get you stuck into a black screen. So there's levels like the galleries or the Strahov we just have to do manually, but thank God we can skip most of Paris with it. Just not Cartier.
Yes. Also on the topic of trigger bugs, they can trigger, haha, in very weird ways sometimes. Sometimes you can trigger them by just simply jumping forward and landing on the ground. Sometimes they will trigger by you hitting a guard or you getting shot yourself. And it can be very magical at times.
Yeah, it can also happen that you just get trigger bugs just randomly if you jump against walls. For example here, the arena with the boss fight, if you would to jump at any of these walls, there is a chance that you just fall out of bounds, you get a cutscene and you're pretty much dead. It's a very special thing.
Also, this is the kind of boss fight that I mentioned earlier. This is pretty much the final thing in the game that we cannot skip. We've tried a bunch of different things a bunch of different times, including myself actually, but no luck.
Yeah, this boss fight has its own RNG. You can see right now that every time we shoot him, he goes down, then we shoot him again, and then he goes back to this vent. And there's 3 locations he can spawn. There's the main vent here, that is right next to it. There's also a vent on the top left and on the top right, which are considered slow spawns. And it's pretty much RNG where he spawns, if he gets to the fast location or to the slow location. But that's not everything. Proto also decides on its own when he wants to die. So you can have 6 phases, or right here you can have 5 phases. Or if you are really lucky, like someone that I know, you can just get it way earlier. So this can
I wonder who that
determine
is.
the run.
Yeah, basically, the speed of this boss fight depends on the amount of damage you deal with your shots, and as far as I know, they are basically random. There are different damage values that you can deal, and this is also true for the enemies that use guns. That's another reason why the Strahov fortress that we visited earlier is such a dangerous level, is because we encounter an armed enemy in the level that we can't really do a whole lot about. You're pretty much guaranteed to get shot at least a little bit, and if you get really unlucky, you will just instantly die.
Yeah, the game has its own ways to just kill you out of completely anywhere. Sometimes you bonk against walls and the game just decides to kill you. Sometimes the game crashes. Sometimes you just get one shot by random enemies. I mean, AUD literally has everything you could ever want from a video game.
Yes, and you just saw Lucas swimming out of bounds to a completely different levels end trigger compared to the one that he was actually in. This is because he was able to swim out of bounds thanks to the game not really checking whether you're in water or in the air if you get out of the water from the side. So you can basically fly by getting out of water from out of bounds. and then you can just use that to get to the next level, which surprisingly has the end trigger loaded.
And we have just gone through the Lost Domain. This is supposed to be the second last level, in where you get to the main antagonist of the game, which is also going to be the end boss. And yeah, it's actually very short, unfortunately. And if I'm not sure, this was supposed to be a very big level, but I don't have a good memory of that. So right now we are on the final level. Normally you're supposed to do a puzzle here, which then brings you straight to the boss fight. We have our own way to skip this by just using our usual crowd save. And the final fight is incoming. It's gonna be very intense, I promise.
It's gonna be very exciting.
So right now, once we are in this arena, we just alter for the cutscene, so the fight doesn't even happen. And what do? We just moon jump to the Nephilim. So after you finish the boss fight, you have to climb up the arena to get to this, well, to the Nephilim. And once you jump at it, or you're close enough to it, the game just ends. There's not even a credits scene on PC, unfortunately. So the moment you get here, we're also about to get time, which is right now. And yeah, that's the game.
GG.
That is.
So yeah, as far as I know, there is a credits on the PS version of the game, but not the PC version.
Yes,
so whenever you reach the final trigger, that's it.
It's very.
To be fair, there is an FMV that plays at the end of the game, but us speedrunners are very mean, and we don't want people to see proper endings, so we just disable it.
Yeah, we just disable everything when it comes to the FMVs. Thank you everyone
That's
for
incredible.
the GGs. Yeah, I think we're done.
That was an incredibly broken game. That was super fun to watch.
Yeah, it's super broken. We couldn't even explore the first level, and we were already in the 5th one.
That was really good, everyone. That was OwlLukas with Tomb Raider: The Angel of Darkness, commentated by Dragon Kane. Thank you both so much for taking part.
No problem.
Everyone,
for having us.
absolutely. Next up, we have a two-way race between Apache and Blackie in Metal Gear Solid 3 HD on European Extreme. So stay tuned. We'll send you all to hold, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Bye.